we need to actually tap on their abilities. What can they do to generate better ideas? So that's what creativity is all about.
Hey guys, I'm AJ.
I'm Rini.
Welcome to TFA Talk Show. Today we have Hazriq Idrus, is a stage actor turned professional speaker who is passionate about creativity, communications, and leadership, and how the three can work hand in hand. Now, welcome Hazriq.
Hello, hi. Hello, ladies. Thank you for having me on board.
Are extroverts more creative than introverts?
Okay, because the term extrovert, introvert, and creative is two separate things. What I'm thinking, how about let's deconstruct, let's break it down, then we decide whether creative, extrovert or introvert is more creative. Okay, let's look at the first one first. Extrovert, introversion. All right, there's the thing about introversion, and I had a misconception about introvert back then. So people say introverts about shy, about aloof, right? Actually, it's not. I remember when I was finding materials, I bumped into my old primary school friend. And back in school, I was that guy, very aloof, very quiet, very timid. But she saw me acting, she saw me speaking. And then when we bumped into each other, she said, Hazriq, you are so different now. And I was like, am I different or am I not? Right? So that got me thinking, especially during that moment when I was about to write. So I was reading, then I realized actually introvert got nothing to do with that. Introvert and extrovert is about the way we charge ourselves, the way we get our energy. So
Right.
introvert people is where they charge themselves by being alone. They be alone, they recharge. It's like handphone charge battery, right? Alone, and then once you recharge, you can do wonders. Once you are done
Nice.
wonders, then you recharge again. That's the introversion, the different introvert people. Whereas extrovert, they recharge with people around them. With people around, they go so loud, everything. The more people, the merrier because they are what they are. So that's what differentiate between extrovert introvert. So that's why if you notice, right, a lot of actors, a lot of speakers actually, they are introvert, yet they can speak, yet they can act. Yeah, because after they've done their job, after they speak or act, right, they will have, like for me, I will have my teh tarik time, and I will have my long teh tarik time, usually like half an hour, 1 hour, just to recharge myself before I move on to the next part. So that's the difference, extrovert, introvert.
Right.
Now, which one is more creative, right? Okay, let's break down what creativity is. Um, People has this misconception that creativity is for the arts. Because I
Yep.
remember one seminar I was giving, and the one participant came to me and they said, Hazriq, I'm not in the creative industry. Why should I be in the? Why should I be creative? All right, he's not wrong actually, but actually, creative. The term creativity is actually ability,
Right.
ability for us to generate ideas. And the thing is, generate ideas to where? It is actually applicable across domains. There's study by Dr. John Bauer from the Rider University. He said that creativity is applicable across 7 domains. 7, he mentioned, like interpersonal, he mentioned about entrepreneurship, he mentioned about problem solving, even maths and science as one domain. And interestingly, right, visual arts, visual or arts is only 2 domains. Two
Right.
domains. So 7 domains, only 2 domains are for arts. The rest is other thing, which like where we are right now lah. We may not be the arts. We still can use creativity. That's where we need to generate ideas to solve problem. And talking about creativity, if we were to go deeper, right? Creativity is not just coming out from thin air. Is especially we humans, right? We have no power to generate ideas out of thin air.
Yeah.
But what we do is to connect resources around us. That's what we are good at. That's what we have been designed for, our thinking ability to put think resources. And Dr. J.P. Guilford, if I'm not wrong, this name, he's a psychologist. He created this term called divergent and convergent thinking. This is the creative process, the basic creative process. Divergent thinking is where we come with a lot of ideas.
Right.
Convergent thinking is where we select ideas to suit the situation. So basically, if we put together, that's what creativity is, to come with ideas. Now, where does extrovert and extrovert comes in, right? Okay, let's look at divergent thinking first. Divergent generate ideas to come up with many ideas. And there are many methods to do divergent thinking. One of the common method is to brainstorming, right? Brainstorming. And brainstorming got many methods. Common method, you have personal brainstorming. You sit down, you put down all the list of ideas, right?
Yep.
That's where introvert will
Comes
is
in.
because they are alone, right? That's one
Mm.
method. Another method is called the group brainstorming, where people come together, combine their ideas, and that's where the extrovert will is, right? Now you can see it's still 50-50.
Right.
50-50, yeah? Okay, now that's one part of creativity, divergent. Let's go for the other part, which is the convergent. Convergent, which is to decide on an idea. There's many ways to decide idea. One way is group decision making. There we come in a team, discuss, come up through ideas. Team, right? That's where again extrovert will is because all the people they talk.
Yeah.
Okay, now he is. Another method of decision making is by voting. Voting means I like this other, I vote. I vote. Very personal. That's where introvert is, right? So you can see another 50-50. So convergent, the divergent 50-50, convergent also 50-50. Now, back to your question, which is more creative, introvert or extrovert? All right, to respond that, right, to me, we might want to change that question instead of comparing this or this, which is what humans do, right? Sometimes
Yeah.
we measure, sometimes we compare, but we don't know what we want to compare for.
Yeah. Correct.
Right. So sometimes what we need to do is we need to actually tap on the abilities. So instead of see who is better, we ask a question, what can they do to generate better ideas?
Right.
So that's what creativity is all about. We always look into the positive side, always look at the strength, and then tap on the individual because everybody's different. I mean, for kids, right? Especially after PSLE results, right? Then the parents will say, "Hey, you go to which school lah? You go to which school lah?" It doesn't matter because they are comparing two different kids of different abilities. We should not compare with one another. If we want to compare, this is what I will share in my class. You want to compare, we should compare only ourselves today and ourselves yesterday. Your today must be better than yesterday. That's how we can move forward.
That's a very nice take on instead of like comparing, like see which one fit. And I also feel that creativity, like it's across the board. So and it's very relevant, especially for freelancers, because we always have to be on our toes. We always have to be creative and be resourceful and stuff like that. And since being it across the board, I'm pretty sure there are also introvert freelancers. So how do introverts then communicate their ideas better to clients?
Okay, all right. This is a very interesting question. Especially introvert. Generally, introvert do not want to speak. Right? They don't speak up. But sometimes they have to. But most of the time they don't. Which is perfectly fine because that's what they are. All right. When we talk about communication, there's many ways to communicate. Basic. Because I like to go into the basic, the fundamentals of it. What is communication? Communication is sending a message from person A to person B, and person B respond whether they understand or not. If person B don't respond, means there's no communication. There's miscommunication. So there's always A to B, B acknowledge, then it's a communication. So communication can be in many forms. Common way of communication is speaking lah, right? But introverts started to do that to speak, but there are many ways to do it. I'm currently reading this book called Draw to Win by Dan Room. He recommended you can communicate through visuals. You can draw. You can draw just to inform that hey, this is my idea. But sometimes it's a bit hard to say, especially those who don't like have problems in speaking in terms of language, right? Language barrier or whatever, especially in other languages. Drawing is universal. I mean, those already cavemen, right? They just draw, and then we like, and you can interpret, you can understand more or less. So drawing could be one way. So for introverts who don't like to speak, but which I recommend them do practice speaking because speaking will make a difference. But if you can't, in fact, to enhance your communication, you use visuals. You can draw symbols like square or rectangle to denote certain area. And like, for example, if I want to share about 5 principles or 5 tips, I would draw a star. because star got five corners, right?
Yeah.
If you want to talk about three principles of theta, I will draw a triangle. Triangle got three corners, so people will visually relate to that. And in fact, for me, I'm more into visual and kinesthetic, so
Right.
I'm more into that. Yeah. So introverts can do that as well. Just draw.
So now we know about like what is creative thinking and how we can actually communicate their ideas. So how can we apply creative thinking in our work as a freelancer?
Okay. The interesting about freelancer, right? We talked earlier on where creativity is across domains, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and that's where the beauty about freelancers. They can work in any domain,
Right.
depending on their expertise, right? So that's the beauty of it. So you can actually adapt easily to various domains to adapt. So I would recommend, right? Because in terms of creative process or creative thinking, there's many creative problem solving tool anyone can use to generate ideas or to solve problems. So when a freelancer is helping an organization, helping another business owner to solve problem, right? You can use this creative problem solving tool to generate ideas. And the in thing right now is what we call the design thinking model, where people use it to generate ideas. This is because in general, design thinking is a creative problem solving tool. Design thinking usually have five methods. This is a five process, right? So this is what freelancers can do when they meet up with a client during the interview, during the chatting, right, to find their needs. Use design thinking method. So the first one is empathy. So because design thinking very much focus um, on their client,
Right.
very client focused. So empathy is where you find out a little bit more about their problem. Interview, ask questions to find out that problem, find that pain point. Then once we find that pain point, we can then move into the next stage, which is what we call define. Define is where you structure or frame the question into the solution focus. Like early on, you mentioned which is better, introvert or extrovert, right?
Yeah.
What I did, I reframe it
Mm.
into like, instead of see who's better,
Mm.
what we can do to help them to get better. So it's
Right.
about reframing. So that's define the problem. Once you define problem, you can find a better solution. The third stage, that's where the divergent thinking kicks in. So you come up with a lot of ideas, and this is not just freelancers. Even in companies, right? I'm not sure whether you have experience when you are having meeting. In the meeting, sometimes meeting drag,
Yeah.
right? And why do they drag?
Common.
It's common, right? Why? That's actually a science to that, right? Why do you think drag? Because the facilitator or the chairman or the leader, right, did not differentiate in which one to use at that meeting. Are they meeting for divergent purposes or convergent purposes?
Right. Right.
They can't differentiate. That's why they like, okay.
They combine everything
They combine
together.
everything.
Yeah, that's why they become long.
They go long, cannot. Because in the meeting, there's only two things. You either, three things. It's either you in the meeting to give information, just pure information. Once info sent, then
Finish.
end of meeting.
Yeah.
Or come together to do divergent thinking, the brainstorming lah.
Correct.
Then that's it, done. The third meeting is to make decision. That's why
Right.
convergent thinking. Three reasons only for meeting.
Right.
But people mix and match. That's why
Yeah.
very long.
Very long.
Yeah. So third stage is ideation. That's why once you interview your client, right, for freelancers, then you find out the define the problem statement, and then you generate ideas. Generate ideas means this is where this moment where you come up with ideas, right? Do not analyze yet. List down as many ideas as possible. Even people say silly ones, right? Doesn't matter. At that point of time, just list down.
Yeah.
Because to get good ideas, you need to have a lot of ideas. Then you can choose the better ones.
Oh,
That's the keyword.
okay. So just list
list
anything
down.
that comes to your mind.
Yeah, even stupid doesn't matter.
Okay.
And
I think that is something that people don't want to put because they feel it's
Yeah,
stupid.
because it's a dumb idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes.
So it is actually advisable to just list whatever ideas that comes across
Whatever
your
idea,
mind.
because right, the thing about creativity, about ideation, right, your idea will have more once you clash with another idea. Let's say
Right.
agent come with one idea, And then we need, based on that idea, you will come out, I got this, I got an idea inspired by Aja's idea, right? You have two ideas. Then realize, as we discuss, hey, I like both ideas. Inspire me to come with another two ideas. Now got four ideas already.
Right, right,
So every
right.
idea is inspired by something else. So that's why to have a better idea, list down first. List down as many. Then you will decide which one to use. Then this one will relate back to the criteria lah. What's your criteria? It could be funding, resources, could be manpower resources, could be whatever resources. So this must be set aside first. You need to have your criteria set first before you decide.
Right.
Then you know what idea to choose based on that set criteria.
Okay.
Then that's the third step, right? Fourth step is where you do prototype. So
Okay.
sometimes you need to prototype, especially for those digital marketing, you want to do you want to promote products. You use a Facebook ads, right? For instance, you need to do prototype, A or B testing, right? Then you prototype and you test. Then you test, you get feedback, and then from there you fine tune, and then you test and get feedback, and then you move on.
Right.
So the thing about design thinking is very action oriented. First is empathy, define, ideate, prototype, and test. So that's what freelancers can do. I recommend you use creative problem solving techniques. Design thinking is one common one. There are many other techniques.
How introverts, maybe like yourself, can sharpen their creative thinking skills? Are there any tips that you can share?
I have this formula about creativity. I call it the creativity equals P plus I plus E.
Okay.
P is what I call the people you meet. I is the information or the knowledge we gain as we go along, as we learn, and E, the experiences we gather as we go along our life. So creativity is basically to connect all this. These are the resources. The people you meet are the resources. The info, knowledge you have is the resources. Experiences, especially personal experiences, are the resources. So what you can do is to understand how creativity works. I mentioned, I think earlier on, creativity is about connecting dots, right? Connecting all these experiences, connecting all these little things around us, all these resources. Be able to connect things. That's how we actually generate or be more creative. Look at different perspective and be able to connect things. I think recently I had I think in Hanafi's session, right? He talked about he was asking for auto caption app.
Yeah.
Right? Then I was like, auto caption app, that ultimately that thread, right, became a long lost
Connection,
friend.
yeah.
Connection. Then I used that auto caption app, I turn it into auto connection approach. It's just based on the same word, I just connect it differently lah. Right? It's as simple as that. So basically, the basic about creativity is be able to connect things. That's all.
Needs practice, yeah.
Yes, of
For I
course.
mean, like the connecting dots and everything. So is there anything that you can like share with us? Like how do you like practice?
Okay, I think reading could be one way. Okay, when you read, right, don't read on that surface level.
Right.
Don't read just what you read, right? Try to link back, always link back. Have this, make it a mindset that whatever you read, how the information you have can link back to your own benefit, to your own area of work, to your own client. You see, because what about creativity is about tapping on other industry to your industry. It's
Right.
always adapting. One of the simplest way I could share is to use this thing called Scamper. I'm not sure that you heard this thing called Scamper.
No.
It's actually it's a creative thinking tool where you can use Scamper substitute S for substitute. So when you see things, see how you can substitute things differently.
Okay.
C is combine, how you can combine two different things together. A is adapt, how you can adapt from one thing to another. M is to modify. It's how you want to make it big, make it small, let's modify. P is to put to other use. For instance, a marker. Marker you use for writing on the whiteboard, right?
Yeah.
You can also put to other use. If people sleep in your lesson, throw it at your friend. Same thing, marker but different usage, right? So that's P to put use. E is to eliminate. One of the common ways eliminate is telephone. Right? Used to be telephone, right? Got long wires.
Yeah.
Now handphone, no wires.
Yeah.
Eliminate. Yeah, now probably you Bluetooth everything, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Then R is to rearrange. Something this can put here or put later. That's the thing about creative people, right? They like to rearrange things in their home. They like to rearrange things in
Yeah.
their office, right?
Mm.
Because that's what they are. They cannot see things like that. They are not status quo. They like
Right.
to see
Right.
changes. To them, changes is normal. And that's where we are living right now, right? Things change so fast,
Changes.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
Yes.
we creative people can adapt it so well because
Mm.
just another change.
True, true,
Right.
true, true,
Yeah,
true,
yeah.
true.
That's true.
So
That's
just
true.
Yeah.
make it change as part of our lifestyle. That's what
Mm.
creativity is all about. It's a lifestyle. So make it part of us. Just like if
Mm.
it's change, oh just change. Yeah.
Like no big
And
deal, right?
like
No
no
big
big deal.
deal.
It's like because you get used to it. Yeah, you mentioned about being practicing, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
just do it more. Just make it normal. Make it
Mm.
second nature. So when things
Right.
Mm.
change, just things
Change lah.
change. Yeah, doesn't matter.
Okay, thank you, Hazriq, for sharing. So, if let's say our listeners and viewers would love to connect with you, where can they find you?
All right. In fact, I love to connect with the listeners as well because creativity is all about connection. Remember?
Yes.
Okay. So hopefully to connect, LinkedIn is one of them. You can go to LinkedIn and look out for LinkedIn/Hazriq HAZRIQ. I repeat, HAZRIQ. That's Hazriq. You can go. Can also to Facebook. I have a page. Same thing /Hazriq HAZRIQ. And also do join me. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Hazriq TV. Hazriq HAZRIQ TV. Should be able to find me there.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
more
Okay.
free resources we can
Mm.
share about creativity, leadership, and communications. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm.
Mm.
Thank you so much, Hazriq, to be on board with us. So, for those of you who enjoy our content, do follow us on our social media platforms at The Freelancers Academy on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, LinkedIn, as well as Telegram. All right. Thank you,
Thank you,
Hazriq.
Thank you,
Hazriq.
ladies. All right, see you guys. All
Bye.
right, bye bye.